Welcome back to Footy Classified. One of the highest profile jobs in AFL footy is the captain of the Collingwood Footy Club, and the man charged with that responsibility joins us in the Nissan hot seat. Welcome to you, Mick Maxwell.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, it's been a rough and rocky start for you into the Collingwood captaincy. You've been suspended twice. It's inside 3 rounds of footy.
Once.
Yes, well, the McGinnity one in the NAB Cup.
I didn't get suspended though.
And got off and then got suspended. You picked me up beautifully. That's what leadership's all about. I like it. But suspended again, a 2-week suspension at a time where it's a delicate time for the Collingwood Footy Club. You feel like you've let Collingwood down a bit at the start of this season?
Yes and no. I do a bit because obviously I'm not out there playing, so I can't be out there helping my teammates win games of footy. But having said that, the incident itself is something that I've done dozens of times and had done to me dozens of times in a game. So until now, I've never known that that was not acceptable on the footy field. And yeah, so I mean, now if from now on I did something similar, then I've really let them down.
Nick, what have you personally changed since you've taken on the captaincy?
Not a lot, Grant, to be honest. No, not a lot. Obviously, there's a lot more work and a lot more responsibility, a lot more of this sort of stuff. So, apart from that, I suppose I've just spoken to a few more people and made sure that guys are happy within the footy club itself, so playing-wise, and make sure the players are on the right track.
Did you have any inkling leading up to it, or was it a surprise to you? Or?
It was a surprise in the fact that you never expect to be named Collingwood Football Club captain or captain of any club. So you never go out to be that person. So it was a surprise in that way. But obviously, when it got down to the last couple of months and we lost Scotty Burns, I knew that there was a couple of us that were in contention. So yeah, it wasn't a surprise that way.
And who are your biggest supporters?
Oh,
just within the club from your team.
Big list, all of them. Yeah, it's been amazing how I can sit down with Jeff Walsh, Mick Malthouse, Simon Lloyd, all the assistant coaches. The great thing I've learned is that so many guys have so many different opinions and they're all valuable.
So is it simplistic to say that one change might be that you've been more aggressive on the footy field in an attempt to show leadership?
No, not at all. No, I've done all those same things, and the McGinnity one was unfortunate that he got injured, but I'd do the same thing every day of the week. Obviously, I'd have to be careful that we didn't have that head clash that led to his injury. But having said that, I felt in that moment that was the best thing to do for my team, which was to try and open some space for Anthony Curry to get the footy, and I'll do the same thing every day of the week, and I would have done the same thing 3 or 4 years ago.
People at Collingwood have been singing your praises for a long time. Nathan Buckley gave you the number 5. You're the executive for the Players Association at a young age. You do a lot in the community and you're well admired in the football fraternity. You have had your critics along the way. Some still argue that you're borderline in the best 22 for Collingwood. How does that make you feel?
It's fine, yeah. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I've been told for a long time that I'm not good enough football-wise. I mean, that's why. I mean, I came through with Jimmy Bartel, and he was always one of the best, and I was never up to that level. So, to be honest, the only people that worry me are the ones in the football club. So, unless you're part of the Collingwood Football Club or you're going to help us win a premiership, your opinion doesn't mean anything to me.
Have you had to feel along the journey like you've had to keep proving yourself to people as a player?
I've got more to prove to myself than anyone, and it's myself that I don't want to let down. I don't want to let down the people who have put trust in me, and obviously the board and Mick Malthouse have put trust in me. I don't want to let them down.
It's a high-profile footy club. It draws attention, and you've got a high-profile president. The coach is always going to be in the news. Would you feel comfortable to go to those people at any stage and say, listen, there's an outside distraction here that's getting to the players, the Collingwood players, and right now there seems to be a bit of an issue between coach and umpires and football club as a whole. What are your thoughts on that? And if you thought it was getting to the point where it was affecting your players, would you be confident enough to go to Eddie or Mick and say, listen?
Of course I would.
So do you think it's an issue?
No, I don't. I definitely would go to any of them and speak about any issues, and I have already. We've spoken about many things, one-on-one with Ed, one-on-one with Mick, one-on-one with Jeff Walsh, and as a group. So definitely not worried about that. I just want what's best for the footy club. But having said that, I feel sorry for the umpires. They've got a job to do. The media, players, coaches, footy clubs, supporters expect them to make 100% correct decisions, and yet they're not full-time people. We're turning over hundreds of $1 million every year, and we can't pay them to be full-time people. And I think that until we sort of realise that, they're probably in the 70s when it was part-time footballers. They're part-time umpires, and it's just not good enough as an industry, in my opinion.
So they should be full-time and they should be better paid.
Of course,
and you think that would solve the problem?
It wouldn't solve the problem because human error is always going to happen. but what it would do would give them the better opportunity to make more decisions correctly. And the same thing if I was playing part-time football, I wouldn't be able to hit as many targets as I can or make the right decisions, but I'm full-time, so it's going to lead to improvement.
So having said that, Nick, sorry, were you disappointed then, sorry Hutchie, that the club didn't appeal the suspension last week? Because a lot of people felt that...
No, not at all. I was part of that decision-making process because in the instance you're talking about, I couldn't argue with any of those areas. I hit him to the body. It was low impact. It was behind play, and it was intentional. I intended to stand. I saw where he was running. I intended to stand in front of him so he'd run into me. So I could not argue with any of those parts of the suspension.
So just on the umpires, and it's an interesting take you have on it. Do you feel though as a club you've had a rough run, and will you play a role in these talks on Wednesday?
No, I won't play a role. And no, I don't think we've had a rough run either. No, I just think that a lot of it's to do with circumstance. And I think that, I mean, it's just ironic that last week Heath was suspended for touching an umpire, and obviously everything that's come up in the last 48 hours is similar. So it's ironic that it's a week apart, but no, I don't.
A lot of speculation about Nathan Buckley and his ability to be a future AFL coach. What do you think?
I reckon he'd make a great coach, yeah.
In what manner?
I think he's a great communicator. I think that he knows what's expected at AFL level, and he knows what sacrifice you have to make. So he can basically say to players, I think it's a lot of younger coaches that come in and being successful because they can relate to the players more. So I think he'd be sensational.
Footy coach, you guys, the Collingwood Footy Club, and you're great mates with him. I mean, would there be an issue of him coming back to Collingwood? Personally,
there wouldn't be. I'm not sure about other guys. I can't speak for them, but at the moment that's all just speculation, and Mick Malthouse is going as well as ever, and I expect him to coach beyond this year.
He actually said to you, didn't he, Nathan, that he thought you were the next captain? I mean, I understand that he has picked you out as a captain for several years.
He had. He didn't tell me that, but Tanya, his wife, did tell me that. So, yeah, he didn't tell me specifically, but
solidarity
I heard,
women are such gossips.
I don't think you can ever say to someone that that's going to happen because it's not his decision to make, and it wasn't. It comes down to a lot of factors, and yeah, he wasn't in that decision-making process. But obviously, I appreciate the support he's given me over such a long time.
And just getting back to the high-profile nature of footy, in particular your footy club, young Cook had issues earlier this week, and the coverage of that from a media point of view. I mean, how does that sit with you and your footy club?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't comment on Cookie's thing because it's before the courts. But we have had a few problems in the last few years. But as we stand right now, we went away in Arizona. Every player sat down and was a part of the decision-making process for our values and our behaviours and what's expected of them. And every player signed off on that. So everyone knows where they stand. And the way forward, we're going forward, we want to win a premiership. And everyone's on the same level. Everyone knows what's expected and we all want the same thing. So it's the tightest group I've seen since I've been at the club.
Is it unrealistic, though, the expectations placed on AFL footballers today in terms of the way they conduct themselves?
I think it's very unfortunate. I think, especially for young guys come in and their mates...
What's unfortunate?
It's unfortunate that that's the situation, but it's not going to change. Yeah, but it's not going to change. That's how it is, and they've got to learn to live with that. But yeah, it is unfortunate that's how it is. I mean, I can't understand how people can be sitting out the front of Ben Cousins' house taking photos of him in his private life. I can't understand that we can go to print about Harry O'Brien's father dying when he hadn't even had a chance to tell people that that had happened. I mean, Jimmy Clement obviously didn't say anything for such a long time about what had happened with his wife because he didn't want anyone to know it. It was a private issue and he wanted to keep it that way. But yet we felt that a story to sell a few more papers was more relevant.
Nick, Collingwood's got a great record of taking some big scalps, be it interstate matches or big games. Does Mick Malthouse prepare more intensely or closely to those bigger type games and from a preparation point of view?
No, not at all. He's definitely probably more for the lesser ones because everyone gets themselves up for Anzac Day and for the big games because you want to be seen to be playing your best footy against the best teams.
Well, maybe you shouldn't try as hard in the lesser games.
Last one, mate. You've been fantastic. We'd love to have another 10 minutes. The AFL Players Association. You've been an executive, great supporter of it. Caro gave them a fair whack yesterday in the Sunday Age about their lack of leadership in point of view of the whole Chicken Gate situation.
Yep.
from an executive point of view, do you have a role in these sorts of issues? Do you get on the phone and say, listen, are we doing the right thing by these blokes? Are we giving them enough support?
We do in certain terms. With that one, I think Cara knows now that some of those instances were incorrect and that Adam Simpson had been in contact with Matt Finnis, and those two have had quite a few discussions over the past week.
Adams was disappointed with the support he felt was shown by the AFL Players Association.
Yeah, he made that clear to Matty, yep. So, but there is issues where sometimes internally within a club, you know best how to deal with these issues, and you know a lot more. And the AFL Players Association is just a phone call away. We're talking about grown men on all these situations, and if they're not prepared to actually say, yep, look, I've got a problem, or I need some help, or can you help me with this, then they sort of can't be guessing all the time as well, because there's a lot of issues. There's hundreds of issues going on every week with so many individual players that you can't just be guessing on all of them.
Nick, thanks for coming in. It's been fascinating. We appreciate your time in this hot seat tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Nick Maxwell, the Collingwood captain. It's good to get for the football fraternity to get to know him a little bit better tonight as well. There's plenty more still to come on footy.